All right, so last episode we talked about the 4 steps for building your professional brand. And one of those kind of sub steps is building out your video capabilities. So I recorded this episode live at a Toastmasters meeting, so I had to live within the confines of about 10 to 12 minutes. But I think that's fitting for an overview. It's a lot of information all at once, but I know you guys can handle it. And it's just kind of fly by. Gain the gears turning as always, and for further questions, feel free to circle back around with me. And let's see what else. Flying through topics, we can dive deeper in later episodes into some more of the details of these topics. Today we're going to be talking about video. We're going to be looking to see how you can do it inside of your organization. I'll be breaking down the fundamentals of who's going to own this, the strategy, and the equipment. And it's an important asset. If you're not doing video today, you're not behind. Somewhat behind, but every video is unique. They are somewhat challenging to execute and pull off. So not everyone is able to do them at a rapid pace. The sooner you get started with it, it's kind of like planting a tree. The best time to do it would have been 20 years ago. The next best time is to do it today. So building up those assets, it doesn't depreciate. It's going to last forever. And it's another way to just distinguish and showcase your personal or professional brand or the brand of your organization, and showcase that knowledge and experience that you have, and allow your audience to be able to connect with you through the power of a video screen. Okay, let's get started.
Thank you for checking out the Media Marketing Podcast, a place where you can learn all things media and marketing related. Don't miss a beat in boosting your business and your brand. In each episode, you'll gain valuable insights, tools, and strategies to apply to your marketing efforts. And now your host, Brian Cargill.
So thank you for that, and thank you, Nicole, for talking about language. I think that's a good segue into speaking the language of my world, which is video production and all things media related. So does everyone have the handout that I passed out? Everyone has that? And I like to start off my talks kind of like similar to Nicole, where 2 questions. So how many of you have made a video before? Whether maybe recording on your phone, you sent it to a friend, maybe I think happy birthday videos are probably the most common. So that's about, I guess, 1/3 of the audience. And then how many of you have watched a video in the last week on YouTube or a movie? Okay, that's almost everybody. So we're all familiar with video. It's just kind of getting from the unknown of just, passively watching it to actually producing it. And so I'm going to be going over a couple things today. I know I can't cover it all because there's so many nuances, and I've been doing this for about 7 years now. So to give you 7 years of knowledge all in one talk wouldn't really do it justice. But I'm going to go over the operations behind video, the strategy, and some of the equipment that you'll use in making a video. So right off the bat, operations, and then with the caveat that this would be for an in-house videographer for a company, what you would need to start that, or if you want to do video on your own. So for everyone out there, maybe you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or these are some tips that you can implement the next time you make a video for your friend or family member. So operations, you're going to need to designate one person that's going to take on the knowledge and the operations of the camera, scheduling. I think that all should be designated to one individual. An optional second person would be when you go out on a shoot, you have another person, or when you're doing your filming, you have another person that can work with the talent, kind of talk with them, or adjust lighting, just being a second pair of hands. In the industry, we call that a production assistant. So right off the bat, one person who's going to be dealing with the operations of the camera, another person that's going to help out. And the things that this person will need to know is they're going to have camera operation knowledge, know how to edit the video, and then project management skills, being able to coordinate a project from start to finish, taking an idea that someone might have and actually bringing it to life, which there's a lot of different nuances depending on who you're working with, different people's styles, how comfortable someone is on camera. Those all go into effect. So I think a lot of people, when they see video, they say, oh, that's a nice shiny thing, I want to have that. But there is a strategy that goes into why you would want to have it and how does it play into the overarching I guess, brand and message that an organization is trying to convey. And then for those of you that don't know, I did a speech on this a while ago, but everyone here is a personal brand. You have a professional brand, maybe you have a LinkedIn, and so a video plays into that along with your profile photo or any blog post that you've written or have been a part of or podcasts. A video is just one more tool of conveying your message to a greater audience. So getting into it, speaking of your audience, who is your audience? You think about your target. So when you make a video, you want to have the end in mind. What do you want to get across? They call that a call to action. We have that in our Toastmasters and our speeches. What information do you want to get across? What do you want to have people do at the end of your speech or at the end of a video? Where are they going to go to your website? Are they going to call you for a meeting? Those are all the things to take into consideration. So is your audience, is it people that are young? Is it people that are old? Do they live in a certain part of the world? Do they make a certain amount of income? These are all things to take into consideration. And I'm going to be flying through a handful of things, and every single thing that I'm talking about here could probably be its own speech. So bear with me if it's a lot of information, and I will have my email at the end that you guys can reach out to me if you have any questions. The next thing is what are you going to talk about? Just like we do for Toastmasters, you think about your subject matter. What is that topic? I would say stick within the wheelhouse of things that are familiar to you, whatever you're an expert on or whatever you're a professional on. What kind of knowledge can you share and you can speak to with your firsthand knowledge? Next is, when are you going to share this information? I think for a lot of us, you don't want to pile on a whole bunch of information at once to your prospective audience. You want to scatter things out throughout the year. And we'll get into that a little bit deeper when we talk about the content calendar later on. And then which. So I'm going through all the W's, what, who, what, when, where, why. Which. So which platform are you going to use to share your information? I think if you're going to do video, you want to be on a visual platform such as YouTube, or LinkedIn is really popular right now. You can even put it on Facebook directly, and I listed out some of those other ones there. The next part, this goes into the strategy and operations side of it, is calendar blocking. For those of you that don't know, calendar blocking is where you take your calendar. Everyone here should be living and dying by your calendar, in my opinion, just because that way you keep yourself accountable. You have meetings with people, you're going to show up to it, and you block out time that is designated to get the job done of whatever you're trying to accomplish. And so block out time for when you're going to have a meeting to talk about the ideas, the topics that you want to go over. Block out time of when you're going to reach out to individuals and work on scheduling times with them. Block out time for filming, block out time for production, and then block out time even to post whatever it is. And general rule of thumb for me is things take twice as long as I anticipate. So I take whatever that time that I think it's going to take and give myself some buffer, some wiggle room there. Some other tools here, these might sound like some silly names to you, but these are some tools for project management. Trello, Asana, Basecamp, Wrike. You can even manage your projects in an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it in a Google Sheet. I found one today, it's called Airtable. So there's a lot of these different tools out there, but a tool is only as good as how you use it. So if you're going to be using it, if you're on a team, you want to make sure the whole team is also using that tool so everyone's on the same page. Some bonus tips in here. I want to give you guys a lot of good information. Holiday content is huge. How often do you guys log on to Facebook and it's on Thanksgiving? We just had Halloween, and everyone posts their costume. Those are the kind of types of content that a business can tap into, and you can do contests. You can ask people, hey, submit your best costume, and you can start to play with your audience, play with that community. Another one is make sure that your video is within that family of content. You want to make sure that you're not just creating a Instagram post over here that looks one way and creating a radio advertisement or a podcast that sounds a different way. You want to make sure everything's cohesive, so that way when people are watching your video or reading your blog post, it has that same look and tone and feel of your organization. And if your marketing team is currently not doing that, make sure they reach out to me and I can help them make sure everything's aligned. And then the other one is just making sure that you're nimble. So if there's new happenings in your industry, if there's regulation changes, employee transitions, these are all things to keep in mind and build into your calendar as time goes on. So I was watching this video right before I came over here. Your content calendar, and I took the snapshot from that video, is down here. That's a little icon of what your calendar can look like, but it needs to be a living, breathing document. So you don't just create it once at the beginning of the year and put it on the shelf to collect dust. You want to come back to it and make sure that it's you're meeting each of your milestones along the way. All right, so if you flip over to the back side, another bonus thing is make sure that you block out time a month after you've done your, what they call a campaign, or you've launched whatever that is, a video or your blog post, and do the analytics. Review, have people watched it, how long did they watch for, and then adjust accordingly for future content that you create. Is that all kind of starting to make a little sense? So what you see on social media, or what people post on a radio, on a radio advertisement or on television, isn't just whimsical. There is a greater strategy behind this of what these organizations are trying to accomplish. Okay, getting into the equipment, I don't know how much time we're going to have here, but I'll do my best. Just the fundamentals is a camera. You want to make sure that you have an audio recording device, lighting, and then there's some other accessories, and then you want to find a way to make sure that you can edit the video that you've created. Just kind of glossing over a camera. A lot of us have that on our phone today. You can create really good stuff. Always remember that filming goes hand in hand with lighting. So if you have really bad lighting, the video, no matter how nice of a camera you have, it's never going to look really great. So to increase your lighting, you can go next to a window, you can film outside. If you have any kind of lights in your house, you can adjust them accordingly. I don't have enough time to go into the nuances of lighting because it's its own thing, but watching a few videos out there can really take you a long way. And then audio, I think a lot of people, when they're first getting into video, they don't realize the importance of audio. And so if you're ever watching a movie or watching a YouTube video, you'll never notice good audio, but you'll always notice really bad audio. Static in the background, or it's cutting in and out. So that's where getting an exterior device, there's lavalier mics, which is what I'm using right here, that clip onto your shirt. There's a shotgun mic, which I'm sure some of you have heard of Rode mic. You can put that onto your camera, or you can have that be a supplemental thing. But a fun thing that you could do, or a workaround if you're on a tight budget, is you can film with like a point and shoot camera, and then have your phone close to the source of whoever it is, and you can be recording on your phone, and maybe it's out of sight, so that way the audience isn't seeing your phone within the shot. But yeah, some other good information here. I would say your total investment, if you could do it all on your phone, but there's little caveats to that. But you're looking at $150 on probably the lowest end, very, very bare bones. But then building upon that up to $5,000 and plus. Some of these Hollywood shoots, I mean, you're looking at millions of dollars. Some of the guys in Portland, they do shoots for minimum of $50,000. So those are just things to take into consideration. But every video, every strategy is different. So you want to make sure you get the equipment. I mean, you can start small and then cater your equipment depending on what you're going to be doing for each video. Because just one person talking into a camera is so much different than running around Portland, filming some different shots, doing some movement. These all are little factors that increase your bottom line. Anyway, quick summary. Went over the operations, the strategy, and the equipment. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@briancargill.com. I put a few reference links in here. I'm sorry if this was a ton of information, but that's kind of the nature of it. It's a lot, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I always love talking about this stuff. So, thank you.